having the links and specifically getting links from websites that are reputable, trustworthy in Google's eyes or search engine's eyes, that is what moves the needle.
Welcome to the Mastering E-commerce Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Eitan Koter, co-CEO of Vimy. In an era of rising acquisition costs and increased competition, this podcast is dedicated to helping you drive sales, engage customers, and build meaningful communities so you can turn passive visitors into active buyers. Now let's get started with the episode. Hello listeners, welcome to another episode of Mastering E-commerce Marketing. Super excited about our chat today. I'm discussing with Thomas Phillips, SEO of D2C SEO agency. So Thomas is a serial entrepreneur, started his first business at the age of 13. Thomas, we need to talk about that. Over the past 18 years, Thomas has been obsessed with cracking the code for e-commerce SEO, helping D2C brands capture massive organic traffic and reduce their reliance on paid ads. Along the way, Thomas and his team generated over $70 million in revenue for their clients and their own brands, including petportraits.com, where Thomas combined his love for pets with premium custom art while giving back to animal rescue. Thomas, that's an amazing career. How are you, my friend?
Thank you. Yeah, fantastic. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward for this episode because obviously, I was researching your background and also your website, and you are all about, organic content, SEO content. That's the way to grow. PPC is so expensive today. CPCs are increasing, and return on ad spend is getting worse and worse, obviously, right? And with Meta and all the other platforms just zooming in on different things these days. So tell us about, what you do today at the agency and what's your secret sauce?
Yeah. So we run the SEO agency right now, specifically for e-commerce brands, not just the DTC. To be fair, we also do B2B, but
Okay.
We really just started it out of so many people asking us to do their SEO. Like, I have always just built brands ourselves with our internal team, and for the past 18 or so years now. And then it just got to the point where so many people were asking us to do their SEO that we were like, all right, okay, we give in. We'll try it out. Like, I never wanted to have a client as a boss, so to speak. That's why we get into entrepreneurship in the first place. We tried it out, and a mentor of mine was like, you should 100% go for it. And it's been extremely fulfilling and very rewarding. Like, being able to see so many different websites have so much benefit from organic search and speak to so many business owners and entrepreneurs. It's like, actually, I'm very fulfilled by this, which is great. So we use our own internal team that we use for our own brands for our clients as well, which is great. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at today.
Okay, it seems that you're super excited about the topic, but I guess it has changed a lot, right? During probably the last 24 months or so. So how do you see, this SEO effort? We know it's kind of a long-term game. It's a big guy's game or not? Just tell us more about what has changed, what has evolved, and what's the opportunity for brands out there.
Yeah. So in terms of what has changed, we've really changed our strategy from 12 to 18 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So before, it was like very, very, very heavy on content, creating just a ton of content, getting a load of traffic. But now that we've really seen a switch. Now that people are using likes of ChatGPT a lot more, and getting like a personalized search and personalized answer, creating that kind of like just question-based content is not a great ROI, like not a great use of investment. It usually doesn't result in a sale, depending on the question side of things. So we're really creating a lot less content and being much more intentional with the kind of content that we're creating. So, for example, we're now going after content around like purely just problem and solution. Like, if the client's product is the solution to that very specific question, that's something that we want to create an article around and be better than everyone else on Google or Bing or wherever we're trying to rank from that side of things. So content strategy has changed a lot, and we focus a lot more on product pages and collection pages, because if we can rank for commercial and transactional intent keywords. Like at the end of the day, that's the biggest ROI. So yeah, there's like a fine balance around all of that. But the whole search GPT, chat GPT side of things is very, very interesting, to the point where we have included that information in terms of how much referral traffic is coming from ChatGPT and how many sales is coming from ChatGPT as well in our own dashboard, because we've worked out pretty consistently how to get our clients to rank within those curated lists that people are searching for, which is awesome. So it's very, very exciting from that side of things.
Can you share some of the statistics? How much of the traffic is generated from Search GPT and those type of platforms?
Yeah. So I think it was in October, November. Yeah, October. One of our clients hit like $6,000 revenue purely from ChatGPT, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this isn't a massive amount, but it's enough for us to go, ooh,
interesting.
Okay, let's add this to the dashboard across all the clients and see what happens." And some clients have no traffic at all from ChatGPT, and some have like a few thousand. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is very interesting. So I basically started to pull apart and try and understand how those lists were curated inside of ChatGPT, and specifically around like if you search like I don't know, best phone case or whatever it might be. And what it was basically doing is a couple of different ways. It was either just pulling directly from search results like Bing, literally, which is kind of a cheating way of doing it, but that's the way it was doing it. The other way was it was looking at authoritative websites that it deemed was authoritative, scanning through those websites and then pulling out those products that were on that site, pulling out the unique selling points, and then building the list based off of that. And what we then got to was the more times that product and those unique selling points were featured on more authoritative websites, the more likely it would be to put that product at the top of the list. So essentially, what I'm getting at is it comes back to link building and digital PR, which is like the core focus of what we work on at the agency, which is fantastic. So everything that we've been doing prior is now massively benefiting now, which is excellent to see. So that is something we're going to focus massively on and try and work out in a better way how we can make it more predictable and get brands and products closer to the top of the list every time. Should be interesting.
Interesting. So you also do the back-end side of things like link building and actively reaching out to publishers or to relevant website and trying to propose. What's the methodology that you implement over there?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two main ways that we do link building, and I would say link building really still is like a good 60% of really what SEO is. Like, if you have a amazing website, let's say you have 1,000 products, amazing pages, everything was manually written, it was a fantastic website. But if you have no links, then there's no fuel to the site. Like Google can't understand, can it trust it or not? Like, what's the deal here? So having the links and specifically getting links from websites that are reputable, trustworthy in Google's eyes or a search engine's eyes, that is what moves the needle. It's not just getting any old random links from Fiverr.
It's
from that side of things.
Quality over quantity, right? For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Spot on. Yeah. So that's really, really what we put a lot of emphasis on this. And there's two main ways that we build links. One is literally just manual outreach. So we go through competitors' links. We do manual Google searches. We're looking to find websites that are in the same niche as the products that we want to link to, or the websites we want to link to. And then we have like a super detailed process of going through that website before we even contact them. Like, what is their traffic like? Is their organic traffic going up or is it going down? Have they been hit by a penalty? What keywords are they ranking for? What are their links like? Analyzing everything before we reach out. And then we reach out to them, create content on their site, and then we can then get a link from there. The second way of doing things is digital PR, which is super fun. It's a way slower, but the link power that you get is like just money can't buy, so to speak.
Yeah.
So getting things from like links from like Forbes, Martha Stewart, like big publications, like that's like the rocket fuel. And that's really what we put a lot of emphasis on at the agency is getting as many of those links as possible, because they're just undeniable power at that point.
Interesting. It seems that like with every answer, you're just opening another sphere of services that you provide, right? We started with SEO, then link building, now with digital PR. Okay, I wonder what's coming next. Okay, but
they all blend into each other.
yeah, nice, interesting. So, why did you see brands or B2B brands or any brand need to diversify just beyond paid advertising? Because this is usually where they start, right?
Yeah, great question. I'm one of the first things that we ask on the discovery call is like, where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years time? And most of the time it's, I want to exit. Okay, great. Well, if you're solely reliant on one traffic source, like paid as an example, when you come to exit, when you come to sell the brand, that is not that appealing to an investor. So I've exited 16 different brands now, and like, I'm like, okay, cool. We've interviewed the different brokers and stuff like that, and they're like, yeah, if you have multiple traffic sources, obviously, but also from an SEO point of view, which is like reliable organic traffic, then like you can get 25% more inquiries for the sale, and then you can almost to the point where you can double the multiple, the sale multiple, which is nuts. So we have all this data together in our slide pack, obviously, which we love to show people. But yeah, it's just nuts from that side of things. So reducing the dependency on paid traffic as it starts to get more and more expensive is super key. But another thing that SEO does is, especially around like the blog content as an example, is it seasons the pixel with people who are searching for that exact thing. So they may come in on a problem solution based thing. Let's say they don't purchase then and there. Either you capture their email, and also you season your pixel with more people who, Facebook or Meta didn't pick up on in the first place. So that way you're feeding and seasoning the pixel further with those people who ultimately are the right target audience who want to buy.
Interesting. So you mentioned brands want to exit within a few years, and obviously you have the perspective of probably an acquirer. And I totally agree that diversification in your customer acquisition is very important. Obviously, not just relying on paid ad, having that organic, which gives you also the ability to reach out to those potential customers directly, right? Probably through email marketing, them in your database. So what is the process, or what is the thought process in terms of building a sustainable organic traffic that investors like, or acquirers like?
From an SEO point of view?
From an SEO point of view, yeah. Or organic traffic.
Yeah. So So I'll run you through the process that we have at the agency. So the first thing that we do is we build out a 365-day plan. So we basically analyze all the different products that the client has right now, the products that they want to go into. We look at all their competition, all their competitors, and we're basically trying to find the gap. Like, where are they at right now? Where's their competition at right now? How much power do they have? How many pages? How many products? How many links? What kind of power of links? What's their anchor text like? All this different stuff. So we're analyzing everything together, pulling that all together, and building a full-blown strategy based off of that. And then that determines what the investment amount actually needs to be, because it's cemented in data. It's not just pulling a number. So that is one of the first things that we do. When we then onboard, the next thing is a full technical audit. Like, there has never been a website that we've come across where it is 100% clear of errors from a technical point of view. So fixing up those, basic things like a 404 error. So like a product was in stock, now it's out of stock, and all of a sudden it's now a 404. Google sees that as, oh, this page is dead. We're just going to drop it in traffic. So fixing things up like that is extremely important from the get-go. And we rerun that every single month as well, because obviously there's developers, there's team members working on a website, and there's always more stuff every single month that comes up. Next thing is, based off of that initial strategy and plan, we then optimize or re-optimize the existing pages. So a lot of the time, a business owner might set up the store at the start and go, I think the best word or best keyword for this particular category might be XYZ, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, that's only getting 500 searches per month. And actually, this keyword over here is at 5,000 searches, but it's the same product. It means the same thing. So re-optimizing existing pages to then go after bigger search terms that are more related is one of the next things that we do from there. Next, we then build out other pages, other collections, again, that kind of hit up those keywords that we're going after to increase that digital footprint. We want to get as much brand visibility as possible. And then we hammer on with link building, like foot to the floor, so to speak. So that is basically, over a 1 year plus process. And yeah, we just want to compound more links and more content and a more technically sound website every single month. If we can continue to do that, the compounding works very, very nicely.
Kind of
so we want to get to that hockey stick.
A hockey stick, yeah. I wanted to say snowball, but it's more like a hockey stick. Yes, correct. You mentioned
exactly.
You mentioned the cost before after you're doing this discovery. Is it related to the competitive scenario, the specific niche that the brand is operating in?
Yes, great question. Yeah, both really. Because let's say, for example, all the competitors are, we use a metric, what Ahrefs SEO tool uses a metric called DR, domain rating.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say all the competition are DR 70, which is very, very high.
Yeah.
And the client right now is DR 20. We're like, okay, this is going to take you a very long time to get there. Like, we're looking at like a 2 year plus time period and quite a big investment, because when we pull down all of their links and we look at it, we're like, okay, they have 90 PR links, right? Okay, how much time and effort does it take to get to that point? And you can't just buy that overnight. It has to be an earned process through data-driven stories, gift guides, expert commentary, all this kind of stuff. So it's just like physically impossible to get there that quickly. So when there's a high level competition, naturally we have to do so much more work to get there. And sometimes we just say to clients, like, it's just not realistic, like, especially within your time frame or within your budget, like, yeah, from that point of view. But the kind of brands that we love to work with are ones that already have a great product, great operations. They've been running for a good period of time, and we usually find that they actually have quite a lot of decent links from the website over the last few years, just naturally, that have come in. And that's like a solid base for us to build off of. And those clients we can get results for a lot quicker because we can piggyback off of their previous power and authority, which is awesome. So if you're starting from scratch with SEO, look at a 12-month plus time period, to really start to see an ROI. If you're an established brand already and you have decent power and reputation, and the competitors are not that much more powerful, that's really where we can get like a really nice big improvement within a few short months.
Interesting. So you can make this analysis, right, and try to give feedback to the customer. Hey, this is the time it will take, roughly, right? This is the cost, right? It gives a better forecasting for this entire project, because it's definitely something that you don't expect immediate result, right? You need more patience for this.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like the compounding over time, it's a trust thing at the end of the day. Like, if someone's going to hand over 100, 200 grand over the course of a year, we need to show results.
For sure.
So everything has to be cemented in data. We can't just pull a number out of nowhere and hope for the best.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thomas, can you provide some case studies of brands scaling very nicely through SEO?
Yeah. So there's a couple wins actually that we've had lately. One of them was again, going back to a brand that was a good few years old. They already had a pretty good trust and reputation with Google.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could then come in and then re-optimize their existing pages because they were super unoptimized. There was like no content at all on the collection pages. It was just a bunch of products. But they were ranking like second page for some pretty big keywords. And that's where we get very excited because there's a lot of keywords within striking distance, like 5th to 15th. And those are the ones that we can really jack up to the top 3.
You have something to work with, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. So re-optimizing those pages, building a few PR links, and then heavily hitting them with like outreach links directly to those pages. Like they went from, I think it was 11th for one of their main keywords. It was like tennis skirts, up to first, and then floating around second to third 4 months later for that main keyword. And their main issue now is that they keep running out of stock. So they're
a good problem.
They're advertising to other types of products because they haven't seen those particular products work that well from paid, right? But now that they're getting organic traffic in, they're starting to make sales on products that they previously weren't advertising, if that makes sense. So the next issue is trying to get more stock for those particular things. So, and that was in we managed to do that in 30 days, and then in 90 days it just like absolutely just took off. So that case study's on our website as well, so you can go in and have a look. Another client I literally just did a quick presentation for this morning. We've been working with them for 4 months now. They were on a big downward trend from organic traffic, and that's the kind of client that we don't really like to take on because it's a question mark around, okay, what is happening here? Like it opens up a can of worms. But what we managed to do was turn that around. It carried on dropping slightly, and then it basically stabilized and started to have some growth, which was great. And then in that 4-month time period, comparing it to the time period before that, we increased organic revenue by 40% and increased their organic search traffic by 32%. So overall, a big win in a relatively short period of time, which was great.
Nice. So let's talk probably about some of the other horror stories of failures, or why SEO strategies fail and how to fix them, right?
Yeah. Oh, great question. Yeah. So one of the biggest pains in my life. We had a massive content website up for sale. This was about 4.5 years ago now. It was up for sale just shy of 5 mil. And we basically just stopped working on it. It was making so much profit every month that we basically just did nothing on it for like a year and a half, like stupidly, just resting on laurels, just like, oh, this is gravy train, we don't need to do anything. It's stupidest thing ever. So yeah, essentially, as with anything, if you don't evolve, especially for a year and a half, at some point it's going to catch up with you. So that was the biggest loss and the biggest hit that we've had, especially from an SEO point of view. It just got to the point where we weren't evolving with the times. Other websites were becoming wildly more powerful than ours because we just weren't working on it. We weren't adding content, weren't re-optimizing, all of that stuff. And we basically had a venture capital firm come to us. They had a lot of cash to invest. They did 3 months of due diligence, and they were due to put in their offer on the Monday, and then on the Sunday evening, Google just slapped the site, which was a very, very interesting timing. But it seemed, they pulled their offer.
Wow.
Obviously, and we were kind of left very upset. But I think the moral of the story there is, like, as with anything, continuous.
Keep going, right?
Yeah. Just never stop with it. And for a year and a half as well, silly, but is what it is.
Interesting.
That was the biggest one. So we're never going to make that mistake again.
Sure. Really, thank you so much for sharing. I think it's important to learn from failures, right? Very, very important, even more than learning from success stories.
Yeah.
Thomas, how do you see how do you see the future of customer acquisition, for DTC brands?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting time right now. I think there's so much uncertainty with what is what is going on? What is happening? Is TikTok going to get banned? Is this going to happen? What's the Instagram algorithm going to do next? There's just all sorts going on. So I think it's just a very interesting time. I think we like with the rise of AI, AI video and all this kind of stuff. Like I see all this weird stuff popping up on
Avatars,
Instagram.
right?
It's
Yeah,
like,
avatars, yes.
and you're like, I don't know where this is going at the moment. But that's really why we're doubling down on obviously ranking on search engines, but also ranking on ChatGPT, because people still search for stuff at the end of the day. And when someone searches for something, their intent is very high. So we're still very bullish on SEO and search in general, from that side of things. And we normally see like a 2x on organic search conversion rate compared to push advertising like Meta,
Wow.
especially when someone is scaling. Because someone is literally searching for that very specific product. That product is coming up. If it ticks all the boxes and someone wants to buy it, then yeah, happy days. The conversion gets made. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next with things. I think it's an exciting time.
Got it. And in terms of the content you mentioned initially in our discussion about the content types that are working today and problems and problem solving type of things, and you mentioned product pages. You work on product pages. These are usually the typical scenarios like blog and product pages. What other types of content do you think are important or emerging? I mean, do you see other formats that are really working very well right now that are important for that organic part of marketing?
Well, definitely, obviously, video side of things is massive for sure. Because especially if I review like how I search for things as well. So interestingly, I use a combination of quite a few. So as an example, I wanted a pocket knife the other day, right? So I went to Google, I did a search. I went to ChatGPT, I did a search. I went to YouTube to see what the product looked like. Was it the right size? All of that kind of stuff. And then ultimately went back, searched for the product again on Google, and then purchased from there. So it's like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different touch points to actually get to that purchase in the end. And I think just like brands doing omni-channel marketing just makes so much sense. Like, if I go to TikTok and I search for, that specific stuff and that brand, if your videos are not there and a competitor pops up, well, I might just go buy their product instead.
Yeah.
So, you're losing that sale, especially if someone has already clicked on your ad, as an example, then they go to Google and they search for that product, but your competitor comes up instead of you. Are they just going to go buy your product and you pay for their advertising?
Yeah.
So, so from that side of things, I really see, omni-channel is so incredibly important. People want to kind of see and touch, so to speak, with video, but they also want to understand and analyze with, whatever else they might be searching on. So,
Yeah, so omnichannel in the sense of just deploying content on a variety of different digital channels, right? And also having different flavors of content, like text-based, videos, also audio-based, like podcasting and other stuff, right? So that's, I think, a very, very important aspect of any marketing today. And this is why it's making it more. It's more and more complicated, right? Because any one of those communities is like a different sphere, right? It has its own rules and its own, although the easiest way is just to repurpose content and just deploy the same thing all over, but it really doesn't work, right? So we need to be specialized in each one of them. Like, hey, great opportunities for agencies, right, as well. And obviously you mentioned TikTok and TikTok Shop. I think it's going very well, and I don't think it's going anywhere, right? So but let's see what happens. Okay,
yeah,
Thomas,
we never know with that government.
how the audience, our listeners can find you and the agency.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so just head on over to dtcseoagency.com, or you can just search DTC SEO agency, or DC SEO. I think we still come up first on Google. Or you can find me at Thomas M.R. Phillips. I think that's on Instagram and X now. Different things like that. But yeah, shoot me an email or book a call. Be happy to chat and go from there.
Great, Thomas. Thank you so much for your time. We're recording this at the beginning of January 2025. So wish you a great year and all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Excellent to be on.
Thank you for listening to the end of this episode. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe so you won't miss any of our future content. Explore Vimy, the video commerce platform that includes live shopping, shoppable video, and social commerce capabilities. Visit Vimy at www.vimy.net. We appreciate your support and look forward for bringing you more valuable insights in our next episode.